UFC 308 takes place this Saturday, 26th of October at 8 p.m. South African time, headlined by Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway at the Etihad Stadium in the UAE. All this and more up next in Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CPS Report. It's your boy, Brother Gaia, back with another prediction fight card of the UFC 308. But I won't be doing it alone this time. I do have two awesome individuals with me. It is Brother Jedi and Baby Sai. How's it going?
Yeah, happy to be back. This is Ross.
Yeah, no, excited, dude. It's been a while since you've been on the card and Baby Side, but you guys are both here. Exciting, exciting, exciting times. Anyway, Jedi, let's not waste too much time. Let's get straight into it. UFC 308, like I said, is taking place this Saturday at a decent time for us South African people. It is at 8 p.m. The prelim is kicking off at 4 p.m. But we're going to start with the main event, which sees Ilia Topuria, the undefeated lad, taking on the former king of the division in the featherweight of Max Holloway. I'm just gonna mute you so long, Jedi, while I go. Baby, oh, you're gonna. Uh, Well, he just keeps laughing. Um, yeah, like I said, Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria in the main event for the featherweight strap. Ilia Topuria, some stats on the guy. He's absolutely flawless as it stands. His record stands at 15 wins and 0 losses, 0 no contests. He's got 5 wins by KO, 8 wins by submission, and 9 first round finishes. He's got a 46% striking accuracy with a 56% takedown accuracy as well, and a 93% takedown defense. And also, what's quite amazing is that significant strikes landed per minute stands at 4.40. So he's quite active. Um, and obviously, noticeably wins beating Alex Volkanovski by second round knockout and Josh Emmett by unanimous decision. Oh, and Bryce Mitchell, excuse me, by second round sub. He is taking on the former king in Max Holloway. Record in the UFC stands at 26 wins, 7 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 12 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, with a 48% striking accuracy, which is higher than the UFC average, and an 84% takedown defense. But the most staggering number of Max Holloway, because we all know he's the volume striker, got the most output in the UFC. His significant strikes landed per minute stands at 7.17. So he's punching the fuck out of you literally every second of the of the fight. He beat Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt in his last fight, and then also beating Korean Zombie before that in the three-round KO. Also taking out all the number one contenders in Ben Allen, Rodriguez, and the list goes on. Only really losing to the one man, and that's Volkanovski 3 times. Right, Jedi, how do you think this fight takes place?
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting fight. Obviously, Ilia Topuria is undefeated and it's been stopping everybody that he goes up against. I don't know who's actually granted decision with him. I haven't looked back that far, but so far he's just been starching everybody,
Mm.
which is very surprising.
Mhm.
Also stopped Volkanovski, which I didn't see coming. I thought he would have just been schooled in that fight every round, but he managed to get the job done. I feel like this fight is setting up for Max to win his title back, in all honesty. Um,
Ah.
I know
Hmm.
I kind of have a tendency to pick the underdog in
Yeah.
most fights. Everybody loves the underdog story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know what bookies have it yet, if they have Max as the underdog
He is, yeah.
or but I feel like it's set up properly for Max to win his title back and to give Ilia Topuria his first loss. Simply because I
Yeah.
don't feel like Ilia is gonna stop him. I don't feel like Ilia is gonna knock Max out.
Mm.
Uh, but I think it's gonna be a very competitive 5 round fight.
Mm.
And I feel like Max is gonna get the edge over him. Max is gonna get 3 rounds over him. That's how I feel. simply just based
Okay.
on experience, fight IQ,
Yeah.
leadership in the ring.
Yeah.
One thing that Ilya does while he's kind of walking Oaks into a corner, he likes to cut the ring
Mm.
off and get
Mm.
Oaks kind of going sideways or lateral.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Max is probably the best lateral sideways fighter in the heavyweight. If not,
Yes.
what's it? Yeah, Rodriguez is also
Yes.
very good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like Ilya's style is gonna play into Max's style, and I just feel
Mm.
like he's not gonna be strong enough, and he's not gonna land that shot that's gonna either knock him out or rock Max. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Mm.
To be honest with you, because I feel like Max has faced better strikers, and he's faced guys
Mm.
much bigger than Ilia Topuria. He's been in there with Max Holloway, he's been in with Gaethje, he's been in with
Yeah.
big
Dustin Poirier.
lightweight guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
and he's been in there with Connor also like a long time
Yes.
ago. So and with Brian Ortega, we all know is a fucking huge featherweight. I
Yeah.
feel like um, I feel like the style is playing into Max's style to win. I feel like he's
Yes.
gonna outpoint him and just volume him. You know what I mean? He's gonna
Mm.
win on
Mm.
volume.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
how I
that's the
think it's
typical
gonna
Max
go.
Holloway finish. Getting people to mouth
Yeah,
after like 3 rounds, and he's like hit you at least 120 times in the first 5 minutes, and you're like, what? Well, how do I beat this guy? Because look, Jada,
exactly.
I'm with you on that one. I'm also on the Max side, but that's obviously because I'm biased towards Max Holloway. He's my favorite fighter in UFC. But putting bias aside, um, I agree with you there. The thing that's really making me go towards Max Holloway for the fight, not because he will outstrike him in terms of volume, he will mount him, he moves around, but he's got very good footwork. It's mainly because Max Holloway was able to take the power of Dustin Poirier, who's probably one of the hardest hitters when you reach
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the lower weighted fighters. So he's like
Mm.
basically from lightweight downwards. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dustin Poirier probably hits one of the hardest, and Max was able to
Yeah,
take his
I would
shots.
agree with that. I think he's got the
You know,
best boxing from the lightweight
exactly.
down. I don't think the other boxers that's better than him.
That's on that level exactly. So and Max was able to stand up and not get dropped by that, and he took a lot of shots, even when it got Justin Gaethje. But Max has also evolved his game since taking the losses to Volkanovski. He's not just rushing the
Yeah,
thing. He's actually he's very more methodical. He's breaking his opponents down literally for every second of the fight. And I agree with you in terms of stylistically because Ilia Topuria's style is to actually take you to the back, put you back to the cage, and keep you in a position where you can't really actually move left to right.
Dude,
Okay, you're stuck in this
he's
corner now.
just trying to knock you out, bro. Like they say, he grapples and stuff, and I've seen like his older videos of him grappling and
He's
tapping
black
guys out,
belt.
but I don't think he
Mm,
does that in the UFC because the Oaks level
yeah,
is just a lot higher. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I don't think he's gonna grapple with Max. I don't think he's. If he does shoot, it's gonna be because he can't catch him. Like, Max is
yeah,
probably moving too much, but I
yeah.
don't think he's gonna shoot a takedown. He'll maybe try and clinch
Mm,
when they're up against the fence or something like that. But I don't see either guy shooting a takedown. It would be very surprising if Max decides to take him down
nah,
at
he
some
won't. He
point just
won't.
to score points or like something
Yeah,
like that. But I've
Max don't do that.
seen Max in other fights kind of sweep guys, just
Yeah,
to get into like a mental warfare thing.
yes.
Um,
And just to take away
but
that gas
nobody's gonna be
tank.
beating. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think
maybe I was gonna.
if anything, I can see Max sweeping him to the floor
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
hitting him a few times while he's there. But nobody's. That's gonna be a stand-up fight. If that's gonna happen, I think it's gonna play into Max's strength.
yeah. Look,
I think
definitely, I
so.
would say the knockout power you would say is in the hands of Ilia Topuria because of he's sleeping
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But he has gone 5 rounds with Josh Emmett, and he won that by unanimous
Oh
decision.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Max recently has shown that he can knock people out. I mean, knocking out the Korean Zombie in 3 after 3 rounds, and then obviously knocking out Justin Gaethje, who everyone thought Max
Yeah.
was going to be
And
outpowered in
Calvin
that fight.
Baker.
And like putting these people down just by literally just outstriking them. And I think if Ilia Topuria says what he says, which is he wants to knock Max Holloway out, That means he's gonna have to stand for most of the fight, and if he does that, he might have a very long 5 rounds. So I think it's safe to say that you and I are locking it in for Max Holloway on this one.
Yeah, I think the most probable outcome is probably Ilia Topuria on a 5-round decision.
Mm,
But I don't think he's gonna decision Max, as I say again. I think Max is
yeah,
gonna get a 3-2.
3-2. I agree. Also, because the thing is,
Mm.
um, uh, 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 Max might, pull away in the first 3 rounds, and then we'll see Ilya maybe get back fourth or fifth, maybe. But the thing is also
Yeah,
hard to see that, man. It's really hard to see because Topuria, though he can grapple as well, Max has fought really good grapplers, and Oaks can't take him down. Like it just can't seem to get him to the
yeah,
ground. So,
that's exactly why I'm saying I
so
don't see a finish for Ilia
uh,
Topuria in this fight. With Matt Pro, it's very hard to finish Max.
it's very tough.
He's
Yeah.
never been stopped in his whole career. Nobody's finished him, bro. And he's been in there with the top of the top
Killers.
guys. Nobody
Yeah.
stopped him. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a fact. That's a complete fact
he
there. So,
knows he, he knows how to, for the most part, stay away from stay away from
mm,
absolutely getting hurt. You know what I mean? Obviously, he
mm,
puts himself
mm,
out there and fight like the Dustin Poirier fight. You can see how much damage that he took in that fight. In
mm,
the Volkanovski too, I don't know what was
yeah.
up with him. I think maybe the game plan wasn't right, or maybe Volko just game planned really
It
flawlessly
was.
that night. Um,
You mean the third
but
fight? It was the third fight where he was just Max lost every
it
single
was
round
a
that
good
fight.
fight.
The second and
Yeah,
the first fight was actually it could have been easily
very
Max's.
close.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, um, yeah, man. I think it's gonna be very competitive, very close. The
Mm,
probabilities is
mm,
with
with Max.
Taporia getting a decision, but I'm gonna I'm going to place a bet on Max Holloway to win this weekend.
Bet on the underdog. Oh, speaking of
Yes.
bets, you'll notice that AD is not in us with this podcast, but you will catch him in a segment that's coming up later in the week. The betting man. You can keep a tabs on that one. AD will give you all the necessary information as to who to bet for on this fight card
Yeah.
come this weekend. All right, Judah, let's keep it moving here at the CPS reports. Our next fight we see in the co-main event Robert the Reaper Whittaker taking on Khamzat Chimaev in the middleweight division. This is a title eliminator fight. A little background on the two gentlemen. Robert Whittaker is currently ranked number 3 in the middleweight division. His record stands at 27 wins, 7 losses, and 0 no contests. So 11 wins by knockout, 5 wins by sub, and 7 first round finishes. Only losing to the two best guys in the division in Israel Adesanya and Dricus Duplessis, the current middleweight champion. Khamzat Chimaev is currently ranked at number 13 in the middleweight division with an undefeated record of 13 wins, 0 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 6 wins by KO, 5 wins by submission, and 8 first round finishes. Also, striking is very quite high 59% striking accuracy and also 100% takedown defense. So no one's ever really shot on the jack. But I feel like I question that though, Jedi. Didn't Usman take him down? You can't have 100% takedown defense. Usman took him down, so that might be questionable. Significant strikes landed per minute is 5.72, with Whittaker's is 4.58. Right, guys, Jedi, how do you think this fight plays out there? Because Hamzat's obviously the most like,
Pretty,
viciously
this,
dangerous, but only in the first round, though. Only in the first round.
yeah.
And I think
For
Whittaker being
me,
a champion, yeah,
for
yeah,
me, Khamzat Chimaev is like, you know, I don't really take him seriously too much because
mm,
he's very fleeting. He's like active and then he's not active for a really long time. Then he's active and then he disappears
mm.
to to run his to run his taverns somewhere in where he's from. Um, so for me, it's like are we actually taking this guy seriously now?
Yeah, yeah,
But anyway, getting back to the fight, for a while he's had that kind of bulletproof
mm,
aura about him, like nobody can stop him. He's
yeah,
this most powerful being walking on earth. But in the Kamaru Usman fight, I felt like if that was a 5 round fight, Kamaru would have beat him.
yeah,
And then also, in the beginning, I thought Kamaru was a bit afraid to afraid to be on the bottom with
mm,
Khamzat.
mm,
You know what I mean? And he looked a bit like wary of just throwing his strikes because he was worried about being taken down.
mm,
In all of his
mm.
other fights, you can see Usman is just wailing in shots how he wants to because he
Mm,
knows if this guy decides to shoot at me, I'm going to stop it. If this guy takes me down, I'm going to get back
mm,
up. It's like
mm.
he's not worried about the
Yeah.
grappling, right? But in the Khamzat fight, you
Mm,
could see he knew Khamzat's biggest strength is grappling. So he was wary of like just
mm.
throwing caution to the wind and like strike in the way he wants to strike. But you could see
Yeah.
late in the second round, in the third round, Trevor Whitman was like telling him, "Bro, that you now felt this guy's grappling. He's not
Yeah.
strong enough to keep you down. You can get up, let your hands go, box him." Then you could see
Yes.
Usman starting to walk him down and be like, "Okay, let's fight. This guy is actually just human. I can beat him." And you could see
Yeah.
Khamzat starting to, you know, back up. He was backing up a
Mm.
lot in that third round, but you could tell
Mm-hmm.
now, like the fatigue was wearing in, and he couldn't take
You could see
Usman
it.
down
Yeah.
anymore. He was struggling so much to take Usman down. So in the third round, you could see the man shot twice and he couldn't do it. So now they had to box.
Mm,
And I feel
mm.
like the same thing is going to happen with Robert.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to
Yeah.
happen. Robert needs to go in behind his hands with confidence and fight this guy. I think Robert's going to beat him. But I feel
Yeah.
like Usman can beat him as well. The Usman fight really showed a lot of hope in the Khamzat Chimaev game. You know what I mean? So did Gilbert
Yes.
Burns.
I was about
The
to
only
say
thing with
yes.
Gilbert Burns is because he's so short, so it was difficult for
Yeah.
him to actually strike with this guy. But you could see in the
Mm.
grappling and stuff, Gilbert showed a lot of holes in the Khamzat game, and
Yes.
Usman
Yes.
exploited even more.
Yes.
So I feel like if
Uh,
Usman rematch him, Usman gets that win. But anyway, we're talking about
yeah.
Robert Whittaker. I
Mm-hmm.
think Robert Whittaker can decision him. Honestly, maybe
Yes.
even unanimous.
It's a 5 round fight.
If he manages, oh, it's 5 round. Then I'm
Mm.
going with Whittaker for
5
sure. Then I'm going with Whittaker for sure.
It's a 5 round
I
fight.
think
Yeah.
Whittaker wins 5 round decision.
Might even get a late finish because if Khamzat fades at the end of round 2, round 3, I think
Yeah,
Whittaker
dude,
might just stop him,
that's
bro.
my thing also. You can see he's not a 5 round guy, bruh. So if this
Yeah.
goes into the championship rounds, it's gonna be, I feel like, almost heavily favored into Robert Whittaker.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what
I
happens, bruh.
completely
See
agree.
what
I
happens.
completely
I
agree.
even
I'm
get
glad.
kicked before then.
Look, I'm glad that you brought up the Gilbert Burns one because I thought Gilbert Burns was actually the first person to show the blueprint to beating Khamzat, even though he lost that fight. And also Usman, a
Yeah,
very important factor in that two fights against Gilbert Burns and Usman. Khamzat was weight bullying at that point. He wasn't actually supposed to be in that weight. He's technically a middleweight guy and he was trying to
yeah,
make weight in that division. That's why he was so much bigger. And when he
yeah.
fought Usman, that was a catch weight. You know what I mean? It wasn't in
Oh,
any
yeah,
of their
yeah,
weight
yeah. You're
classes.
right.
So that just shows
Plus,
you. And
Usman just had to fight him, bruh. You could see
just had to
Usman
fight
was
him.
so concerned about being taken down. He
Yeah.
was wary about throwing kicks, wary about throwing the right hand and stuff
Mm,
like that.
mm, mm.
And later on, when they got like the fatigue started setting in, you could
Yeah.
tell that the tides were shifting. You know what I mean? Usman
Mm,
started walking him down.
mm.
So
Absolutely.
if we're gonna see the same Khamzat against this Robert Whittaker, I think Robert is gonna
Mm.
beat him. Bro.
I think Rob's going to beat him as well. And I'll tell you why. I think that Robert Whittaker nullified and beat up Yoel Romero, who I think will out wrestle Khamzat Chimaev, to be quite honest. If Yoel Romero in his
Yeah,
prime take on Khamzat Chimaev, I think Yoel Romero out wrestles him. And I
yeah,
think Robert Whittaker was
yeah.
able to shut down Jacare Souza in his prime, shut down Yoel Romero in his prime. And I thought, now Robert Whittaker he's got the credentials, the CV,
Yeah,
all the skill sets to actually be the one that comes out on top. But listen, I don't want to take it away completely in Rob's favor. At the end of the day, the guys have to go out there and put on the show and do what they have to do. And
yeah,
Khamzat is dangerous. He is going to be very, very aggressive in that first 10 minutes. So you can expect him to be, putting on a pace on Robert
yeah,
Whittaker in the first round to second round. And I think if Rob's able to navigate that 2 rounds, I think Rob beats him round 3, 4, 5, gets the job done over that loss, that backstretch of the fight. But it's a fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic co-main event, though. So are we in agreement that Rob Whittaker gets the job done over the 25 minutes,
Yeah,
possibly a late
I'm
finish?
going with the Whittaker. with a Whittaker
Okay.
decision. I
And
want him to be
baby size?
decision. Baby
Baby size?
size is yo roll them both tag team match handicap handicap match.
I think I've seen those lately on online of Oaks fighting like two guys versus one guy. It's so crazy. Nuts to watch,
Yeah, it's
bro.
hilarious. Bro, I watched one fight where it's three dudes, three small guys
Oh.
fight this one big man.
What the hell's going
Yo,
on,
it's so
bro?
funny. It's so funny,
Anyway, I
bro.
don't know
I
how
don't
they
know how
sanction that,
to.
bro.
Yeah,
It's
and
strange.
then also where they find these guys.
I don't
Where
even
they
know where the
find these guys. Three
organizations
guys.
come from.
It look like three dudes that work at Google. He's fighting the security guard. What it looks like.
That's cack funny. A security guard, you say. Anyway, Jedi, let's keep it moving. Also, let us know in the comments what you guys think about that main event and co-main event. Love to hear who you think is going to get the W there. We're going to keep it moving here to the featured bout of the main card. It's Lerone Murphy taking on our guy, Danish, aka Dan Ige, in the featherweight division.
Ooh,
And
another
as it
undefeated
stands,
man.
oh, another undefeated, exactly. I was just about to say another undefeated guy in Lerone Murphy, currently ranked number 12 in the featherweight division. They could stand at 14 wins, 0 losses, and 1 no contest. 7 wins by KO, 6 first round finishes. Heavy handed, 54% striking accuracy with a 43% takedown accuracy and a
Sheesh.
5.01 significant strikes landed per minute.
This man
Beating
gassed
Edson
the fight.
Barbosa. Yeah, he beat Edson Barbosa in his last fight by unanimous decision and Kolobau also by unanimous decision. A noticeable knockout win over Amir Khani in the second round. And like I said, he's a heavy hitter, but so is Dan Ige, currently ranked at number 14 in the featherweight, which I think is a bit of a shitty thing on my perspective. I think he should have been ranked a bit higher. Record stands at 18 wins, 8 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 6 wins by KO, 5 wins by submission, and a 7 first round finishes. His psychic accuracy currently sits at 46% recorded in the UFC and a 59% takedown defense. Significant strikes landed per minute is not as high as Ladone Murphy's, but it is quite good at 3.7 per minute. And also his last outing he fought against Diego Lopez, obviously with 4 hours notice and went to unanimous decision, unfortunately. Before that, he knocked out Andre Fili earlier this year by a first round KO and only really losing to people like Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, and Ibloev, Korean Zombie, and Calvin Cater. The guys who at the time when he fought them were, top five, top six contenders. But also what that shows me is that Dan Ige lost to fighters who tend to grapple and just mix things up and don't really rush into him and just go balls to the wall. Because Dan Ige is probably
Yeah.
one of the best at stopping people when they're coming in fast at him. He starts with you somewhere right there. And I think that makes for an intriguing matchup between the two guys because Lerone Murphy isn't that kind of fighter. He's a bit more methodical, but likes to throw his hands. How do you think this fight plays out, Jida?
To be honest with you, I haven't watched much of Leon Murphy other than the Edson Barbosa fight,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was basically a kickboxing match. Um, I think that this is also going to be a kickboxing match, but um, I think Lerone Murphy could be very one-dimensional, judging by his style and the past fights that I see here. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
this is not a
yeah,
kickboxing fight; it's a MMA fight. So
yeah.
you know, I think we can look to see Danny. Not that Dan Ige grapples a lot, but I think you can look to see Dan Ige controlling him maybe and trying
Mm.
to just be the more experienced guy in there, which could be the way to win this fight. Um, so yeah, I think Dan Ige can
Mm-hmm.
get a unanimous victory here over a guy that's clearly a very hot prospect in the featherweight
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, my bias is obviously moving towards Dan Ige. I think he's one hell of a fighter to watch. I think he's incredibly tough, especially to go up against someone like Diego Lopez, who's even a hotter prospect than Ladone Murphy right now, and to go to
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
the distance with him at that with no camp shows you that Dan Ige is nothing to mess around with. You know what I mean? And my only concern for this fight is when Dan Ige is the one that's having to chase opponents or you're the one that's having to push the pace on opponents, he doesn't necessarily land that much. Opponents seem to get away from him, and he's not necessarily the kind of type of guy that loves to grapple. But I do think he's going to have more experience coming into this one. I do think he's going to ride the wave of what he had gone through his last fight with Diego Lopez, going toe to toe with Diego Lopez, who is now currently ranked number 3, I think, in this division, or number 4. He's in the top. He's in the top 5. So that means that Dan Ige,
From
I think, can definitely go. Yeah, from 10th, bro. But I do rate Dan Ige. I really do. I do think he's something special. And if he gets past Lerone Murphy, that takes away Lerone Murphy's 0. It makes him 4-1, and also puts Dan Ige, solidifying him in the top part of this division, of course. But I think it's going to be a tough ask because Lerone Murphy is not
yeah,
someone that's going to just
yeah,
give it to him easily. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be quite good with his footwork. I do
yeah.
think he hits really hard. Um, but I think Dan Ige is the better boxer, and that's why I'm leaning towards Dan Ige for this one. So yeah, let us
Mm.
know in the comments what you think. Myself and Jedi are
I
in
think
agreement here with.
it's one of those fights that could be a fight of the night.
That's what
Because
everyone seems to be saying, bruh.
stylistically, it's bold enough for that. Like someone's either gonna get KO'd or this is gonna be a back and forth war of nutrition, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and let's see what Dan Ige looks like with the full camp this time. Let's see what kind of person or fighter shows up come this Saturday. Right, Jedi, let's keep it moving. We are going to the light heavyweight division. We have title contenders Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic in the light
Fight
heavyweight
of the night,
division.
right
Title,
here.
you think this is fight of the night?
Yeah,
Woo! Okay, let's
pretty
do a
much
quick little build
fight
up
of the
for these two guys.
Oh, I'm on
Magomed
5%,
Ankalaev.
Ross.
Hey?
I said I'm on
What?
5%.
Oh, okay. No, then let's just go straight into it. Then give me your thoughts. How do you think this fight plays out?
Yo, I think it's one of those fights where obviously Uncle Levy is like becoming the Khabib favorite of this division. And people
Mm,
at some point want to see him fight for the belt, whether
yeah.
it's against Powhatan or whoever else is holding the belt at that time. Because I feel like
Mm,
Powhatan might jump up to the heavyweight pretty soon.
mm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
I almost feel like Uncle Leave's the number one guy, right? He's number one
He is
contender.
number 1. Yeah, yeah. And Rakic is
Yeah,
number 5.
so okay. I feel like it's gonna be a big ask of him, but
Mm,
he's gonna
mm,
break Rakitic. He's gonna just basically he's gonna have to go in there and break a man's soul to
mm.
become the number one contender. And if he wins this fight, then Powhatan can't dodge him. Can't say
Yeah.
okay,
Can't anymore. Yeah,
there's nobody else because
yeah.
before Powhatan came in the division, I felt like Uncle Leave and Kiri was gonna be the
Mm,
fight to make. You know what I mean?
yes, yes,
But
yes.
obviously, Powhatan beat Chiri twice. This is the
Hmm.
next guy, and it's going to be interesting to see how Powhatan goes up against Dagestani grappler
Yes.
because he's
Not
basically like a Khabib in the light heavyweight.
heavyweight.
He's got one loss, but I don't know. I don't think it was in the. Who did he lose to?
I don't know if it was in the UFC,
He
to be
lost
honest.
against Volkov. He lost against Jiri.
Yes, I think he
He
did.
lost against Jan. Who did he lose? Jiri
No,
for the title.
no,
But
no, he
anyway,
drew with Jan Blowicz. That was a draw.
oh, oh.
Yes.
So yeah, bro. I think it's gonna be the fight of the night war, two beasts going in there. It's like two Vikings. If
Mm,
this was in back in the day, they would literally be coming on there on warships, bringing their two
yeah, and
best fighters in.
shield and gods and
That
cash.
kind of cultural fight. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Look,
it's like
Rakic is
you can
really good
tell.
as well.
I know. You can tell
He's
there's a lot
fantastic.
more than a UFC fight leading up to this
Yeah.
fight.
Well, I think
There's
it's
a
safe
there's a
to
lot
say that the
going on.
winner, the winner here will definitely get to fight for the title next. And I think it's kind of setting itself up for the way the UFC put it together for Magomed Ankalaev to actually get the win here. But he is going up against someone who I think has the potential to knock out anybody in the division. I mean, he put on a Musi fight against Giri Paraska before getting knocked out.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And also only lost to Blahovic. Those are the two guys who beat him. So it's like the two former champions technically. You know what I mean? So yeah, the winner here gets the title, obviously get that title shot, and I'm gonna lean towards Magomed Ankalaev. I think he can wrestle. He's a better wrestler in the Rakic. If he stands a bit long, he's always gonna give Rakic a chance to get into the fight. Obviously with the striking department, but I think Magomed's gonna mix it up so well
Yeah,
and get the win. Get the win
he's good,
by
right?
outclassing him.
He's a very clever grappler fighter. He's
Yeah,
super smart. I think
yeah.
he's probably not as good as Khabib in him on the ground. He obviously knows,
Hmm.
like he's a very good grappler, but in terms of mixing his style up and being unpredictable,
Yeah.
he's super good. He's very clever.
Yeah, he might be the puzzle. He might be the dude to take Powertan's crown in this division. To be honest, but let us know in the comments what you think about that fight. Who do you think is going to be the one that gets that number one contender spot come the end of the weekend? Now today, the last fight on the main event, on the main card, we see Shara Magomedov taking on Arman Petrosian in the middleweight division, where Tricker still remains
Again, this
king.
bro,
Yeah,
this
second
guy
time
just
fighting
keeps
that. Yeah,
winning and winning, bro. But they keep giving
it's a
him
bit
these
boring
guys
though.
that's like the AI created character guy.
Yeah, yeah. Arman Petrosian, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was in the UFC for no, he only has 4 fights in the UFC, but I think he comes from the one championship. I
I
stand
don't
under
know this
correction.
guy.
But the name looks familiar to me. But anyway, this is Shadan Magomedov. He's still undefeated, 14 wins, 0 losses. He wins by KO. We all know what he's like. He's a striking guy, stand up kickboxer. Never really goes for the takedown. Basically, just gets people out of there by winning a lot of unanimous decisions. Arnold Petrosian is no different, to be quite honest. His record is 9-3, zero no contests. Pretty much a kickboxer all around that doesn't really like to do much takedowns. 6 wins by KO,
Russia
three
wins
wins,
Russia.
three wins by
Wins in fight.
3 wins by no 3 first time finishes. Sorry, but like I said, both these guys are just pretty much strikers. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone's really going to be shooting in this fight. So it's going to be one of those things of who's going to outstrike each other, who get the kill shot first. Jedi, how do you think this fight plays out?
Yo, I don't know Armin. I've never seen this guy before. He's got a very cool surname, but cool surnames don't win fights.
Nah.
And Shara, yeah, Shara's been on a good run, bruh. Every time I
Yes,
think Shara's gonna lose, and he freaking wins.
then he
So
wins. Yeah.
just gotta go with Shara again, especially since he's fighting the AI character generated guy.
Arman Petrosian. Okay, no, then let's leave it at that. I also think Shada's gonna win the fight. He's obviously the younger fighter. He's more vibrant, more youthful. Pretty much the younger
Mm,
version of Petrosian. Petrosian was what Shada was once upon a time. But I do think the power advantage is in Petrosian. But I think Shada's just gonna move him around for 15 minutes. Jada,
yeah,
well, listen in the comments. What do you think? Huh?
Petrosian looks like he has 4 kids, and he just came from the supermarket to buy stuff,
in
and
in
gonna fight
sloppies, in
Shara.
flip flops. He's Havaianas.
Yeah,
He's wearing Havaianas.
it's no problem. It's no problem.
What's the
Takes
problem?
location. Takes location.
All right, Jedi, let's end it off with a quick prediction before your computer dies. With the headliner for the prelims, we see Jeff Neal taking on Rafael dos Anjos in the welterweight division.
What?
Um, yeah, just give us your quick thoughts on this one before I let you go.
Why is this in the prelims, my bro? Swap
I
out
know
Shara and Petrosian, bro.
it's because they're in Abu Dhabi, man. They're in Dubai. That's why.
Yo, new fight of the night: Jeff Neal versus RDA. New fight
Yes.
of the night, bro. Watch, I'm telling you, new
Who do you
fight
think
of the
wins
night.
though?
If you wanna watch a very competitive, high level MMA fight, it's gonna be this one, bro. You're gonna see everything: grappling, clinching,
Mm.
striking, setup, everything. This is gonna be a proper high level fight, and I can't
Yeah, I do
choose
think so. I want to go with Rafael dos Anjos because obviously he's the old guard, but
Brazil. Yeah, I have to go with Brazil.
but Jeff Neal is a freaking tank, dude, and it's difficult to get taken down. I mean, we look at his
Jeff Neal
losses. He
is
lost.
being done wrong here, bruh, because Jeff Neal should be higher than Ian Gary Machado. I feel like Tekno will beat Ian, but I promise you.
No, of course, of course. I mean, he had a close fight with him to begin with, but he never really like looked himself in that fight. But in this one, more
Machado Gary
competition.
runs away most of his fights. He literally runs around the ring
Yeah, yeah.
all the time. Just does this.
But in
This
this
is how
one,
he
you can't
fights.
ever pick. You can't have a definitive answer for who wins this fight, though.
Nah, no.
Okay, that's fine. Well, welcome, brother AD. How's it going, broski?
Whole lot of gang shit, bro. What's
Na na
happening
na
with
na
you
na na
guys?
na. Yo, how's the
Jedi
week been?
loving me ever for the guy in the
Yeah,
neck,
for the
Yo,
really.
guy.
how's it going?
Yo,
OG,
this whole thing
OG.
was been
Good to
using the
see
wrong
you.
whole time.
Yeah, you
Good to
too,
see you.
bro. See you guys are having a
What
good
you
time,
say?
me.
He looks like the Rock.
No, I said I was
Really
using
looks
the
like
wrong
Dwayne
mic.
Johnson. Oh,
He does, yeah. He looks like young Dwayne
he looks
Johnson
like Dwayne Johnson.
before the
Are
steroids
you
took
mad?
over.
Bro, I'm
He looked
just
like
starting my
Dwayne Johnson
steroids
when he
now,
was in
bro.
high school.
I'm starting the
um,
steroids now, bro. Light
yeah,
heavyweight
I can
era on the way,
yeah.
bro.
So the fight week is going well. Fight
Yeah,
camp is going
bro.
well. Okay, Jedi. I mean, I'm gonna go with Chef Neil because I think he's young, because he's younger, and Rafael dos Anjos. This is kind of if he loses this fight, he's hanging up the gloves here. I think.
You should, yeah.
You agree, AD?
He's like 42 now, right?
I think he's on the other side of 40 at the moment.
Bro, that says all that we need to say, bro. He's 42 years old. He shouldn't be fighting anymore, bro. And he's had like a
So,
long, illustrious career. He's been a mainstay of the division for such a long time. Like, just bow out, bro. You got nothing left to prove to anyone, bro.
yeah,
We know
and
you're
you
not
were
going
the
to be a
champion.
champion. Yeah, we know you're not going to be a champion again.
Yeah,
So, what are you still fighting for, bro? You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, he
So,
was the
yeah.
champion. Check it. Jen's
Yeah.
laptop literally just died now. I remember you said he had like 5%, so I'm going to remove him. And then I actually made mention in the episode earlier that you're going to be doing the betting man segment a bit later in the week.
Keep a
So
lookout for
I
that
don't
one,
think
guys.
so. I'm not actually going to ask you for your predictions, and
Yeah.
but because you're obviously going to go into more depth about it when you do the betting segment. But just tell the audience members how you feel about the fight card overall, and just like where's your mindset for it.
But obviously, I'm super hyped for this card, bro. I think this is probably the event of the year. Was UFC 300 this year?
Yeah,
This is like on par with that, bro. I would say
hear
this is
this
like
man
on
come
par
back.
with UFC 300. But I was actually very curious. I'll watch the episode, but from your perspective, I just want to know from you, bro. Are you
Yeah,
popping? Are you
I am.
popping, bro? Are you
I
popping?
am.
Because, bro, I
I
think all
am.
Max fans are popping, bro. Because this
Yeah.
one is something else, bro.
Just to
So
give you
yeah,
Who?
give you guys some context out there that isn't South
Ilya,
African,
bro.
popping that
Nah,
80 is referring to is what being worried in
Are
a
you
more
scared?
English.
the
Are you
Are you
scared?
scared?
Yes.
Are you
no,
scared?
no, no, bro.
but I'm still gonna go with Max Holloway, obviously. You know that. But you will
Nah,
watch the episode.
but
You'll
that's
watch
an
the episode.
emotional. But we'll see. Yeah, I'll get you guys breakdown, and then after that, I'll make my own decisions. But bruh,
What's
be
up, bro?
scared, bro. Be scared. Be scared.
Not scared,
And
man.
Max is 3-1, bruh. So I'm never not gonna make that bet. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'll
you
get
have
to
to bet
that
on
in
Max.
the video.
Even Jade's
So
like he's
yeah,
gonna bet on Max. But
three
okay,
to
that
one
is our
today.
time.
Robert Whittaker 2.7. Let's get
You gotta
paid,
bet
bruh.
on
Let's
Yes,
get
bro.
paid.
you gotta bet on the dogs. But anyway, gents,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Jedi.
Going with the underdogs weekend. Who else is underdogs? Is the Boko also underdogs this weekend?
Watch the betting show, bruh. I'll add the booker in there.
Yeah, keep a lookout for that. Keep a lookout for
Keep
that.
a lookout for the parlays, guys. We're gonna get
But
rich this weekend.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, as always, Jedi. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. 80. I look forward to the
Yeah.
betting segment as it comes out
All
later
that
in the
gang
week.
shit, bro.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing for our page. Keep the content, keep the comments going. We appreciate all of that. You will catch us when we recap this awesome event this weekend. On that note, stay blessed, stay safe, and we will see you next. Cheers.
If anybody knows where